Hey guys, it's just me, Jen, your pudgy picker. Just kind of moved a little bit over to this side of the office. I rarely sit in my little wicker chair here, so thought it'd be a nice change of scenery. I have a nice halo above my hair. So if this is the first time you're seeing me, hi, my name is Jen. I'm on a weight loss journey. Also, my channel is about reselling. I buy and things, garage sales, estate sales, even the side of the road. Find it, clean it up. I sell on eBay as well as an antique booth in my area. So if you think any of that content would be interesting to you, stay tuned. You can also like, comment, and subscribe. If you've been here a while or you've been here for all the resale and you're here for the weight loss, hi, glad to see you again. I know who you are. So before I start, of course, I have to do the disclaimer. You know, I'm not a weight loss professional. I am not a doctor, a nurse, or anything in that immediate vicinity. I am not giving out medical advice. I am just clearly showing my experiences, the things I'm going through with taking the GLP-1 semaglutide shots, my experiences, all my opinion. If you are interested or you think this might be for you, please talk to your doctor. I don't know you, I don't know your medical history, and if I did, it wouldn't matter because I'm not a doctor. So all that's out of the way. So this is an interesting week, actually. This is week 28. I had a colonoscopy a week ago Friday. That went well. Actually, it went okay. They ended up finding a decent size 2 polyps. One was a pretty large size. They've sent it away just to make sure it's not cancerous or any of that stuff. So of course, you know, there's a little bit of worry. Most likely it's fine, but it's just one of those things that you keep thinking about until you get the results back. But other than that, I mean, the procedure went well. I was in and out of there pretty quick. Funny enough, you know, when you go through any procedure, no matter how big or small it is, if you know you're going to be either under or in twilight or anything like that, you know, it's very nerve-wracking. And I wasn't really that nervous. I was just kind of like, okay, here we are. Oh, she's like, okay, we're going to give you the medicine now to, you know, for you to go to sleep. And I was just, you know, laying there, and as soon as I felt it, I went, oh, she goes, there it is. So that's all I remember. I have a little bit of a bruise, you can see, where the IV went in. They went right there. I hate when they go in a bendy spot. But it hurt going in, so I thought, ooh, I'm going to have a bruise. So yeah, it's a nice little pretty green one. Love it. So that went fine. And as a result of having that and having to clean everything out, I did not take my shot last Monday, a week ago Monday, for this very reason. I had been talking about it and saying, you know, when I went into the doctor, she said, yeah, it should be fine. And then I kept reading on it, and I was like, I don't feel good about it. So I do take my shot Monday evening. So the nurse called with the time of my surgery and said, I'm going to go over some information, and was asking what I take. And I told her that, and she's like, oh, you need to not take that. You know, when did you last take that? And then I told her, I said, look, this is what the doctor told me, so you need to make sure you mention to her so you don't get these crossed wires. I said, I was planning on not taking it because I was reading up on it and I didn't feel comfortable taking it. And then knowing in 4 days I had to get rid of everything. I wasn't, even if that was possible, I didn't want to put myself through that. So she's like, oh, no, you shouldn't, that's, you know, at least a week out, you shouldn't be taking that. And I'm like, well, I didn't. Took it last Monday, so it'll be, you know, almost 2 weeks by the time I had my surgery. So she was like, okay, so that's fine. So, yeah. So I'm like, just mention that because that's a problem. And a lot more people are taking these shots. So, you know, everybody needs to be on the same page as far as, you know, them taking it. I did stop taking my iron. They told me to stop taking that a week ahead. And then basically I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take my 2 depression meds like 4 days before my surgery. So I cut out, you know, my vitamin D and my iron and my you know, all that, you know, that stuff, my probiotic, all that stuff I stopped taking. I want to make sure this goes well. I didn't want to get there and have any issue, or they do the procedure and it wasn't what they needed it to be, and I didn't want to have to repeat it. That was my thought process. So this weigh-in is for week 28. It covers January 8th through January 14th. My starting weight for this week was 221.2 pounds. My ending weight was 222. I'm sliding into that 222 rut. I occasionally get that every 12 pounds. So that was a gain of 0.8 pounds. So not a big deal. It was interesting, since I went the week without the dose, I was really paying attention to, I didn't know if I was like slowly going to get cravings or slowly get the food noise, or if it was going to be just like walking into a brick wall. Oh my gosh, I got to eat. It wasn't either of those things. Food, what I normally eat was about the same. It was strange. The day before my colonoscopy, they give you all the stuff you can take, and if I wouldn't have had, I got apple juice. I haven't had apple juice since I was probably 10 years old. Everything else I was going to have, broth and iced tea and hot tea and, you know, clear pop and stuff like that. All that stuff had no calories, so I was like, yeah, okay. So I drank a bottle that whole day, of apple juice. 880 calories. So, but I didn't have, you know, that was all the calories I basically had. It was just weird, because you have it pounded in your head. You can't have this. You go, oh no, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. Oh, I'll drink a whole bottle. Oh, that would be terrible. You know, so, but everything worked out. Very glad of that. Food, I ate the same. As far as like food noise, any of the side effects, I didn't really have any food noise. I think I did eat a little more the last few days. I think just because after the colonoscopy, I was more hungry. I don't know. But other than that, my food was the same. Food noise about the same. As far as side effects, the only thing I didn't experience this week is I had no nausea. It was a beautiful thing. You know, I always mention in these videos, I'm like, if you are a kind of person that feeling nauseous, even if you don't get to the point of throwing up, and that's a constant thing to some degree on this medication, if that is a deal breaker for you, then this medicine is not for you, because there is some level of nausea, some level at all times. I mean, not all time, every day. Let's say every day at some level, you're going to be nauseous. So this week not having that, it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. Exercise, again, I've been so focused on my colonoscopy and doing other things that I've completely just, with prepping for this, also, I've been telling you that I'm like doing things. I'm taking care of my weight. I got my colonoscopy. I had an MRI breast exam instead of the regular mammogram this year. I went to my doctor, did a full blood workup. I had a dentist appointment yesterday. I hadn't been since pre-pandemic. I know, it's terrible, it's terrible. There's a new place like 5 minutes from my house that opened, so I went in there. I was there for a little while longer than I think I should have normally been. But you can kind of tell they're all kind of new with working with each other. So it was a little bit of a, what do you need me to do? Oh, don't forget this. You know, more of that. I know one I used to go to when my kids were small. I mean, they'd been working with each other for years. So, I mean, it was almost like this, just silent. We just know what to do. So I think that was part of it. But I got x-rays. I had a crown that came loose 2 weeks ago. But it was probably a little more than 2 weeks ago, but I was sick with that flu. So I'm like, I got to wait until that gets over before I go into a doctor and, you know. So decided to do that. But I went yesterday and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh. I've always had a lot of issues with my teeth. I don't know. I think it's genetic. Plus my dad did not have dental insurance till I was like 14. 13, 14. So by the time I went in, I already had issues. So I went in and she re-glued my crown back in. And then I had a little chip I told her about, and she's like, actually, that was a chip of your filling of a tooth on this side. So she's like, we're going to have to redo that. But other than that, there was no other issues. Now, every time I go, I'm like, there's going to be 27 things wrong. I'm going to be having to come back every other day. It's like, but thankfully, no new issues. So they didn't have a lot of appointments. She's like, we can do it now. I'm like, no. I have to be mentally prepared for this appointment. I just can't be like, sure. You know what? I probably should have, because then it would have just been like, I wouldn't have had time to worry about it. I don't know. I had other places to go. Literally, by the time I left, I'd been there 2 hours. So, whatever. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. So, I go again next Tuesday, which is a week from today. Yeah, I do these videos on Tuesday. You'll see this one tomorrow, so that they're more in real time than my other videos. So it's like I've gotten all these doctor's appointments done, and I'm like taking care of business, and I feel good about that. I really do. The only thing that kind of stuck out to me as far as my procedure is my blood pressure was really high. Now, I don't know if I was internally nervous and I just didn't feel nervous or what, but they took it before the surgery and they took it after. It was higher after. So I know when I was at my doctor, she was a little bit, your blood pressure's a little high, which seems a little odd considering I was heavier and I had been on blood pressure meds, and I went off because I was getting like, lightheaded if I stood up too quick. And my doctor was like, well, that means you're fine. You shouldn't be taking that. So I kind of don't want to go back on any prescription medication. I know I had a comment last week. It's like, you're not on any medications for medical stuff, just for the depression. And yeah, and I don't know what it is. I've always been generally a healthy person. There's not a lot of like genetic issues in my family, no heart conditions, no, any kind of that issues. My mom, of course, I've mentioned this, she had breast cancer twice. My grandmother, her mother, had breast cancer. It had spread to her bones. That's what caused her to pass. And my mother's aunt, who she was partially named after, died at 44 of breast cancer. So there is that. Now, as far as genetics goes, I know this is probably more than you want to know, but if you're just listening along, just keep folding clothes or doing what you're doing, and I'll keep talking. That I took the genetic test. Funny enough, they offered it to my daughter when she was at her doctor's a couple years ago. So she didn't have it. So my doctor was like, yeah, and I said, yeah, my daughter had that and she didn't. She's like, well, let's just go ahead and do it. Did it. So I do not carry that genetic disposition for breast cancer, but you go through genetic counseling, which means not only just that matters. It's like, oh, I don't carry that gene, or I don't carry that issue, so I won't get breast cancer. No. They take into consideration, my family history, and that family history alone, they put all this into some kind of, calculation, and they come up with a number that says the likelihood of you in your lifetime getting breast cancer, and mine was elevated purely for the sake of genetics, like family genetics, not gene testing. So I'm very on top of that. I had my baseline for breast exam. I know you probably don't care anything about this, but it's important. It's important. So I had that, I had my baseline mammogram when I was 35, which usually they say 40 or a little bit older, but because of my family history, I got it at 35, then I got it at 40, and then every year since. Now, this past time, my doctor said because of that elevated, number of getting breast cancer in my lifetime, they want me to do a mammogram once a year and then a breast MRI every year. So that makes it every 6 months I'm having something checked. So, you know, I understand that. I appreciate it. The hospital system here is University Hospitals. That's where my doctors perform their surgeries, etc. And they have a program that they will do a breast MRI for you for like, it's like $300 or $400. I mentioned this once before, I can't remember the amount. So if they say, okay, we're going to go through your insurance denies it, then we'll go ahead and, you know, it'll just be this lower reduced cost. So I'm like, that's worth it to me. If I got to sell a few extra shirts and vintage knickknacks to accomplish that, not a problem. It's my health, and I want to make sure of that. So now the first one they did, this last time I did this, it was the MRI, and the insurance covered it. Now, is the insurance going to want to do that every year? Probably not. But I was like, okay, well, at least they covered that one. And they always cover the mammogram, the regular one, the old squish one. So bringing up the blood pressure and all that is, I brought it up for the reason of it was a little high when I was at my doctor's in September. And I was like, had some traffic on the way there, so I was a little worked up when I got there. And she's like, that's probably what it is. Keep track of it. We'll meet in 6 months, and then we'll talk about it again. Have I kept track of it? No. Am I going to, now that I had this issue with my colonoscopy and my blood pressure being high? Yes. So I'm going to make an effort to do that, because I'm going to see her in March. So like 8 weeks or something, 6-8 weeks. And then at that time, I will probably get a requisition for a regular mammogram as well. So I'm kind of really hoping that I don't go on blood pressure meds again. But if I'm losing weight and I'm doing all these other things to take care of my health, I'm not going to be stubborn about a blood pressure pill. And I'm hoping as my weight continues to go down, that won't be an issue. I was a lot heavier in September. I was heavier in September, of course, than I am now. So, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what she says. But again, I'm being careful, and I'm making sure that I am doing what I can be doing, and I'm not going to be like, nope, I don't want to be on any kind of medicine. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to be stupid about it. If you need medicine, you need medicine. I get it. Mood, okay. I had a day or two I was kind of blah. I don't know. It's one of those things that if you have depression, anytime you have those, you're like, okay, is it getting worse? What are we doing? Is this worse? Is this the same as what it's before? Is it the medicine not working? You go through this this mental gymnastics, as my father used to say, to try and figure that out. But I'm like, everybody has a day that they're down. Everybody has a day or two that they're not, you know, waking up going, yeah, let's hit the day. So I get it. I mean, I get it. So I'm not too worried about it. I do have a regular, like, family doctor, and then I have a psychiatrist who does just the medication dispensing. Excuse me. So, I mean, I keep up with both of them as to what's going on, and okay, I'm doing this now, and he said I should do this. Do you think I should do this? I mean, I always tell them, you know, send this to my regular doctor, or, you know, I'm always making sure everybody's on the same page as much as possible. I don't want anything to get missed. So, yeah. So being caught up on my doctor's appointments, I feel pretty good about that. So I have that one next Tuesday, and it should be good. It should be fine. Everything should work out just fine. I am still waiting, of course, for the pathology on that polyp. It was over an inch, so it was a decent size. And I had pictures, but I'm not going to show you. They usually give you the picture. Here's your colon. And I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, okay, it looks like everyone else's. And then the next page had, this is funny. The next page is like, okay, here's the polyp. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see that. Okay, they took it out. And then the other one was your, you know, where the poop shooter, where they have, like, you know, talking about my muscle there and everything. And I'm like, great. I know you didn't tune in for this, but if you're not this age yet, I'm 56, if you're not 50 and over, boy, you got some fun things coming. And don't put it off. You know, there's part of me that's kind of mad at myself a little bit because I've been putting this off. I did the poop in the box once. It was fine. I did it again, and it wasn't okay, and that was a few years ago. That was right before the pandemic, and it was like, well, they detected a little bit blood. You should get it checked. And I'm like, oh, I was just probably pushing too hard, and that's all it was. Sorry, I know this is TMI. I'm going to put it in the title, TMI. Maybe that'll get more views. It's sickos. But again, you know, I shouldn't have put it off. And if I would have went in sooner, it might have been smaller. If it's, you know, if it is something, I could have dealt with it sooner. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. So they said, I think 7 to 10 days. So probably sometime next week I'll hear something, but I don't know, anything, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, this is all part of my journey to lose weight and to take care of myself too. It's not just the weight, it's being healthier and doing all the other things that contribute to you being a healthy person, not just the weight and just not the number on a scale. So, you know, head to toe, make sure everything's good. Oh, I had gotten new glasses. They look like my old ones, so you probably haven't noticed. But that was another one. So I got my eyes checked, my teeth done, my colonoscopy, my blood work, my doctor visit, my MRI for... I mean, I am just like, I don't know what else you can check. You know, it's like put me up on the rack like a car and do the 50,000-mile checkup. They don't do checkups on cars anymore, do they? Anyway, so that is all that I got. Whew, that was a lot. I'm parched. So, yeah. So if that was more than you bargained for, you made it all the way through here. Damn. You are a real trooper, and I appreciate you. So, yeah. So, of course, you know, you can give me a thumbs down if this was too much. Thumbs up either way. Leave a comment or even just a little emoji. That engagement really does help my channel, and I appreciate that. So if you don't have anything in particular to say, give me a thumbs up and leave a little emoji, you know, and then I'll know that you saw me all the way through the end. And yeah, so let's get back. Let's mentally regroup and, you know, knuckle down again. You gotta every once in a while do that. Pay attention, get, you know, refocus, you know, recenter, and that's what I'm gonna do. And get this week going again. Let's get these numbers down. I am going on vacation in February, so we'll see how that figures into this whole thing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and I'm going to keep plugging along. I'm too far into this to slow down now. And if I run into a bump or eat too much or something happens, it's not going to turn into another bad meal or another bad day or another bad week. And then another bad weigh-in. I'm not gonna. No, you gotta. You know, you slip up and you're like, okay, stop. Let's refocus and move on. That's what I'm doing. You got to keep doing that. You don't have the same amount of drive and focus every day for losing weight, especially since I've been in this for over 6 months. I mean, you can't do that every day. It's just not how it works. So again, thank you for tuning in and spending, good gracious, so much time with me. I do appreciate you taking that time. I know there's so many different things on YouTube to watch and so many different things in your life that require your attention. Taking a few minutes for me is truly appreciated, and I don't ever want you to think that I don't appreciate you guys. So I will see you guys next time, and until then, bye. Bye.